Hello students, today we are going to discuss about kingdom Protista. In early classes we have discussed about kingdom Monera and its various characteristic features. Now today we are going to discuss about kingdom Protista and some of its characteristic features. Okay, so it is the second kingdom in the Whittaker's five kingdom classification system. So let's start with the kingdom Protista. Okay, kingdom Protista. See, in kingdom Protista, okay, we are going to discuss about the unicellular eukaryotes. See, in the previous session we have discussed in Monera that about the bacteria which are unicellular prokaryotes. But here we are going to discuss about the eukaryotes. And see, what is meant by eukaryotes? Those cells which are having well developed cellular organization, means they have the cell membrane, they have the cell wall. Okay, then some are exceptional to the that there is an absence of cell wall in someone. But in Protista we also discuss about the different types of mode of nutrition again. Okay, so let's start with it. So kingdom Protista. Okay, the word Protista has been taken from a Greek word that is protistos. Protistos means the first of all. First of all. Okay, so these are the organisms which were evolved first of all. Okay, so what the name has been given? Protista. Okay, Protista comes from the protistos. Now, this kingdom includes all unicellular eukaryotes. You can write here, this kingdom includes all unicellular eukaryotes. Okay, the next, these organisms are primarily aquatic. Okay, these are primarily aquatic. That means these organisms are found in the water bodies. Okay, so and the term, you know, the term Protista, which was given by who? We have discussed in the classification when we are discussing about biological classification. At that time we have seen 2 system classification, 3 system classification, 4 and 5 system classification. The 3 system classification was proposed by whom? Ernst Haeckel, right? In that he was the one who has introduced the kingdom Protista for first time. So right here, the term Protista was given by or coined by, okay, given by Ernst Haeckel. Okay, Ernst Haeckel was the one who has given the term called kingdom Protista. Okay, now let's classify the kingdom Protista on the basis of various characteristic features. Okay, so what are the different characteristic features that on the basis of what we are classifying the kingdom Protista is? That is either the kingdom Protista, okay, or the protists can be the photosynthetic. That means they are autotrophic. They can synthesize their own food material by themselves. They may be the parasitic or the protozoans type. That means they are having certain features like animal type. Okay, that means they are depending upon other organisms for their nutritional requirement. Then we will classify them on the basis of again another mode of nutrition, that is called saprophytic mode of nutrition. Means that they are depending upon the dead and decomposing organic matter for their nutritional requirement. So that is how we can classify them. Apart from this, we can also see their different characteristics depending upon their external appearance, how they look. Okay, we can call them. Then another one is like on the basis of mode of what you say, movement or the locomotion, we can also classify the kingdom Protista. So let's see the classification of kingdom Protista, and we'll draw certain diagrams also. Okay, so we'll see the classification of kingdom Protista. Kingdom Protista. It is broadly classified into three main categories. That is photosynthetic protist, then protozoan protist, and third saprophytic protist. Okay, so these are the three different categories of the protista. Now, photosynthetic protist in the sense, see, photosynthesis means it is the characteristic feature of the autotrophic organisms, right? So that means they can synthesize their own food material by themselves. So that is these are, you can write, they show autotrophic nutrition. They show autotrophic nutrition, and these photosynthetic protists are further classified into different types. Okay, these are further classified into the one that is called Chrysophyta. It is a further classification of the photosynthetic protist, that is Chrysophyta. Here chryso, that means the golden. Okay, and the protist it includes in this type of class is the golden algae. Golden algae. Okay, so an example of the Chrysophyta is the diatoms. Okay, so the diatoms are considered as the most primitive type of algae which were found onto the earth. Okay, and they are composed of silica. Okay, the body it is composed of silica and also act as a bad conductor of heat. Okay, so this is the Chrysophyta. Apart from Chrysophyta, we have another class that is called Pyrophyta. Pyrophyta. The word pyro means fire, and the algae which is found in this Pyrophyta is called fire algae. Okay, now fire algae, the word itself indicates they show the bioluminescence. The algae which are characterized by bioluminescence type of feature, they are put under this Pyrophyta. Okay, and example of this is the dinoflagellates. Example is the dinoflagellate. And the third type of what we say, we'll write here. Third type of photosynthetic protist is the Euglenophyta. Okay, Euglenophyta means it includes the euglenoids, and you know euglenoids, they are characterized by a specific characteristic feature, that is they are the connecting link between the plants and the animals. That how? Because they possess certain characteristics of the plants and certain characteristics of the animal. Like they have the chloroplast, and which is commonly seen in the plants. That means they can synthesize their own food material by means of photosynthesis. And another characteristic feature is they lack the cell wall, which is a characteristic feature of animals. So that means they are connecting link between the plants as well as animals. Okay, so you can write the example is the Euglena. which is a connecting link between plants and animals. Now we are moving to the next category of the protists, that is the protozoan protist. Okay, these protozoan protists are like animals. Okay, like animals, like animals in the sense they are heterotrophic in their mode of nutrition. Okay, they are heterotrophic in their mode of nutrition. That means they are depending upon other organisms for their nutritional requirement. Okay, these are further classified. Okay, these are further, you can write further classified as, or further classified on the basis of locomotion as, number one, Sardinae or Sardina. Okay, Sardina means these are the type of protists which shows the amoeboid movement. Amoeboid means which consists of cilia or flagella or the pseudo, due to the presence of pseudopodia, they show the kind of amoeboid type of movement. Okay, so as they have the pseudopodia, they show amoeboid movement. You can write here amoeboid movement. Okay, movement. And why? It is due to the pseudopodia present in them. The next examples of these are the amoeba and enta-amoeba. See, amoeba, enta-amoeba can be act as a parasites also. Okay, they depend upon other organisms for their nutritional requirement. And enta-amoeba is well known kind of parasite or an endoparasite. Okay, which is responsible for causing, okay, a kind of dysentery or a disease called bacillary dysentery or the yes, amoeboid dysentery. Okay, or amoeboiosis. That disease is called as amoeboiosis. So that is caused by the enta-amoeba. The next another category of the protist, that is the protozoan protist, is the Ciliata. Now the Ciliata means what? See, cilia, the organism which possesses cilia on its surface, they are referred as the Ciliata. If we talk about the protists which are possessing cilia on their surface, are the like Paramecium. Okay, we'll discuss about the structure of the Paramecium also. So you can see the cilia are covering the body of the what we say Paramecium. Okay, and these are helping in the locomotion. So Paramecium is a generally slipper shaped structure. They are having slipper shaped structure and which are responsible for showing ciliating movement. Okay, so cilia are the small hair like structures. Now the third type of protist is the zooflagellates. Zooflagellates. Now zooflagellates are those, okay, which are having flagella for their locomotion. Okay, so flagella in the sense long slender structures are there which are filamentous, composed of microtubule and microfilament type of components which help in the movement of the amoeba or the protozoans. Okay, example is Trypanosoma. Okay, this is a zooflagellate which consists of flagella for their movement. Okay, the next another category is also there. We'll write here. Okay, so another category which is found in the protozoan protist are the fourth one. I am writing here. That is sporozoans. So sporozoans are those protists or the parasites which are in the form of sporozoites. Okay, and the example of the sporozoans is the Plasmodium. Guys, you might be familiar with the disease called malaria, which is caused by a protozoan that is called Plasmodium falciparum. There are 4 different Plasmodium: Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium malaria, and the Plasmodium vivax. So these are the 4 different Plasmodium of this. Plasmodium falciparum is well known to cause malaria in case of humans. Okay, and this is nothing but a kind of sporozoan. Okay, so it is a kind of parasite which has been transported with the help of a vector that is called female anopheles mosquito into the human body, so that the disease will be caused. Now, another category of the protista is the saprophytic protist. Now, saprophytic protist means what? The protists which are depending upon the dead and decomposing organic matter are called as the saprophytes. Okay, so example of the saprophytic protist is the slime molds. Slime molds. Okay, so this is how we are classifying the kingdom protista into different category. I hope you are getting this. Now let's revise these points once again. So the first category of the kingdom protista is the photosynthetic protist. Photosynthetic means they are showing the autotrophic mode of nutrition. That means they are depending upon their they are not depending upon other organisms for their nutritional requirement. Means they can synthesize their own food material. It includes the further classes like Chrysophyta, among which we can see the example of the golden algae, which is also referred as diatoms. Okay, then Pyrophyta, which includes the fire algae, which shows the bioluminescence type of characteristic feature, and examples are the dinoflagellate. And third category under photosynthetic protists is the euglenoids. Okay, euglenoids in the sense these organisms possess both the characters, that is characters of plant as well as animal. As they have the chloroplast, they can synthesize their own food material. As their cell lacks the cell wall, that means it is a feature of the animal cell. Now next, protozoan protist. What is the characters of protozoan protist? These are animal like, that means they are depending upon other organisms for their nutritional requirement. So they are called as the heterotrophic. And further classified as Sardina. Sardina means they are showing amoeboid movement. That means they are consisting of the pseudopodia for their locomotion. Okay, example are the amoeba and the entamoeba. Entamoeba is also acting as a endoparasite. Now next is the ciliata. Ciliata means the cells or the organism which possess cilia like structure on entire surface of the cell. Example is the paramecium. Okay, the next zooflagellates, they consist of flagella. Flagella are the long slender thread like structures, filamentous, which are meant for showing the flagellated movement. Okay, so example is the trypanosoma. And finally we have the final category of the protozoan protist, that is the sporozoans, and example is the plasmodium. Okay, I hope you are getting this. And the last one is the saprophytic protist, which is saprophytic, that means depending upon dead and decaying organic matter for their nutritional requirement. Okay, so example is the slime molds. Okay, so now we are going to discuss about the structure. Okay, we will see the structure of one or two protists. Okay, you have to note down this all the points in your notebook. Okay, now let's draw the structure. Okay, so first we will draw the structure of diatoms. How these diatoms look like. Sorry. So here you can see the structure of the diatoms. These diatoms look like this. Okay. So you can label the name here diatom. You have to draw this diagram within your notebook. Okay. Next we are going to see the structure of paramecium. Okay. So how do parameciums look like? It's a sleeper shaped diagram. You know the sleepers we are wearing. Okay. It's similar to that. Such a structure you can see, and the structure is totally surrounded by the cilia. Okay, so it consists of the nucleus within it. Okay, and certain aster shaped structures called the vacuoles. Okay, and the body is totally surrounded by the small hair like structures. So students, I will send you the snaps of the pictures again. For understanding, we are drawing these diagrams. Okay, so that you can understand the characteristic features of this paramecium. Okay. Okay, so this is a structure. Now here we will label the structures. This is referred as the macronucleus. Then it consists of the vacuoles. These are the cilia. Then this is the cytoplasm. Then it consists of food vacuoles. This is a water vacuole. Okay. Now next we will see this is the structure of a paramecium, a typical structure of paramecium. You have to draw this diagram into your notebook. Okay, I'll send you the pictures after the lecture. Okay, so you have to draw some few more diagrams again. So we'll label here paramecium. Okay, so students, I hope you have got this kingdom protista. If you have any kind of doubts within this, you are free to ask me. Thank you.